What is up, my friends on the internet? Back at it with another video, and as you can probably tell by the trees behind me, I am in Florida. Today's episode is the Coffee Scrambler episode number 6. If you are new here, this is a show where I take my Triumph Scrambler 900 to cities all across America to first explore those cities and then to second check out a local coffee shop and give my review on it. But today's episode is a little different because I needed to get some seat time in on a bike I'm using for a future bigger video. I actually didn't take my Scrambler 900 down to Florida. I took the Triumph Tiger 900. Get to the coffee shop, I want to clarify a little bit. I feel like a lot of motovloggers will have a bike for a single test ride for a weekend maybe, or maybe for a week or so with the press bike situation, and then they give you a review on it. While this format does get you to see the new fresh bikes while they're still new and fresh, I don't think it gives you a real life expectation of what you would expect if you did go out and purchase that bike. So when I do a review going forward, I want to make sure that it's long-term and comprehensive, and I'm using that bike the way I would use a bike that is my actual bike. I want to be taking it on road trips. I want to be taking it to coffee shops. I want to be taking it up to the mountains to like ride the twisties. Can you see my fingers? I want to take it to commute. I want to do all the things that I do on my Scrambler 900 or whatever bike I'm riding at that time with this bike I'm reviewing, so it's more comprehensive, it's more real life, and it gives you a real understanding of what you can expect if you pick one up. So that is why I brought this bike down to Florida. I have a finite amount of time to get out and make these videos, so I'm gonna have to mix the Tiger in as much as I possibly can. So there will be a few Coffee Scrambler videos that are on the Tiger, just so I can get more seat time on it and see how it is to use it in the way that I actually use my motorcycles. The place we are going today is called the UnderGrounds Coffee Company, and I gotta give them the kudos for the witty name. I like that. The menu looks pretty solid. They have all of the core espresso drinks that you would expect at a good coffee shop, as well as a few specialty drinks that seem a little fun. One thing I've noticed at most of the coffee shops in Florida has been whiskey barrel aged cold brew. That's not really a thing in Atlanta. In Atlanta, our specialty cold brew tends to be just nitro infused. That is the thing that you'll see at the good places in Atlanta, but in Florida, every place seems to have this whiskey barrel aged cold brew, so I'm gonna order that just to see what it's all about. I'm gonna grab one of their specialty drinks, and I'm probably gonna grab like a core espresso drink, maybe even just a double espresso. But I did notice that they have matcha, so it might be a day where I end up buying a lot of drinks. The matcha looked pretty good in the images I saw. I'm really excited to get to this place. It seems like it's really like artsy, open-minded, very inclusive. Ironically, it's just attached to a gym, which somehow like speaks to my personality perfectly. The only way this place could be more suited to me is if there was a motorcycle dealership on the other side of it. Petersburg and Tampa are so close to each other, after coffee we decided to explore both a little bit. We went over to Valhalla Bakery, which features another business called Valkyrie Donuts, which were fantastic. We had a really good time at the bakery. They had a really good variety of stuff, some savory, some sweet. Of course, we ordered way too much. Randomly, there was a pizza pocket, so I got that because I can't just eat sweets and coffee on an entire weekend trip. We went from there with those pastries, ate some of them in the place, and then went over to the water. Went over to the bay and just kind of sat on the side of the water looking at a bunch of bougie yachts and people running for their fitness while I was trying to fitness donut into my mouth. As a kid, I actually lived just outside of Tampa, so while we were there, we bounced over and saw my old apartment that I lived in and the elementary school that I went to. It was pretty cool to just go back and see some places that I remembered from when I was a kid. I gotta say, everything looks a lot smaller now than when I was a kid. I found this hill that I used to skate down all the time when I was a kid, and in my head it was huge and I was going so fast, but looking at it now as an adult, it wasn't even really a hill. It was just like the slightest of declines. I was just tiny and fearful. As far as the drinks go, that was kind of a little bit of a hit or miss situation. The matcha was spot on. It's exactly what you would expect. It was unsweetened, which is my preference for matcha. I want to actually have a drink that tastes like the green tea that's in it, not just like sugary milk, you know? The espresso, I had a double espresso. I don't remember where it was from. I want to say it was Ethiopia, but it was great. It was the best espresso that I've had pulled for me on this entire endeavor of making these videos. Hands down, so good. But the whiskey barreled cold brew, I did not like that. That was not for me at all. The flavor structure there was not something that was cool for me at all. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't taste enough like coffee to me. I think if you're a person that actually likes whiskey, you would really enjoy it. Again, I think if you're into whiskey or spirits at large, you should definitely try it because I bet it's great for those kind of people. But I don't drink alcohol first off, and I'm a bit of a coffee purist, so I really like my stuff to kind of taste like it should. And it was just a little experimental for me. So